Hello everyone, we are starting our new book that goes along with our last book of Hate That Cat, and this one is Sharon Creech's Love That Dog. Now, when we talked about metacognition and thinking about our thinking, my first thought, whenever I read this book, it always makes me think of my Daisy girl. Her name was Daisy and I called her my Daisy girl. And she was with me from 2001 to 2017, and I made this hardback book after I lost her. And it has me with her when I first got her. Yes, that's me. Can you believe it? Through all of her years that we spent together. All the way, and then you see there's Riggy with her in some pictures. But she was with me through 15 years. And then there was at the end with her, isn't she just so precious? That was our last day together. And then that's my memorial stuff about her. And then on the back, I made a list of all my most important memories of her. Just teeny little notes that I put to remember all the silly things she did, because she was quite a character. And that dog will always be so deep in my heart. And so when I think about things like this book, it makes me think of her. And it probably always will. Okay. This is called Love That Dog, a novel. Now, I hope that you have seen Hate That Cat, or after seeing this, that you see the videos on Hate That Cat, because they go together. And it has a dedication for Jack and Sandy Floyd, Mark and Karen Benjamin, Louise England, Rob Luthery, all of whom love their dog. With special thanks to Walter Dean Myers, one of those poets. And to all the poets that Mr. and Miss Stretchberries, who inspire students every day. Okay. Now, if you aren't familiar with these stories because you didn't see Hate That Cat videos, these are written by Jack. This is where he writes to his teacher, and because they're studying poetry, she has him 2 years in a row. So 1 year it's this, and the other year is the Hate the Cat. And he writes everything in poems to her, and I'll be showing you some of the poetic devices that he uses. Jack, room 105, Miss Stretchberry. September 13th. I don't want to because boys don't write poetry. Girls do. September 21st, 8 days later. I tried. Can't do it. Brain's empty. September 27th. I don't understand the poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens and why so much depends on them. If that is a poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, then any words can be a poem. You just got to make short lines. And I always read it the way he writes it. And so he writes it and it looks like a poem even though he's just talking, and make short lines. And again, if you didn't see the other videos, this is what he keeps referring to from William Carlos Williams, The Red Wheelbarrow. And he talks about this poem a lot in both books. October 4th. Do you promise not to read it out loud? Do you promise not to put it on the board? Okay, here it is, but I don't like it. So much depends upon a blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road. October 10th. What do you mean? Why does so much depend upon a blue car? You didn't say before that I had to tell why. The wheelbarrow guy didn't tell why. October 17th. What was up with the Snowy Woods poem you read today? Why doesn't the person just keep going if he's got so many miles to go before he sleeps? And why do I have to tell more about the blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road? I don't want to write about that blue car that had miles to go before it slept. So many miles to go in such a hurry. October 24th. I am sorry to say that I did not really understand the Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright poem, but at least it sounded good in my ears. Here is the blue car with tiger sounds. Blue car, shining bright in the darkness of the night. Who could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky? I could see you in the night. Blue car, shining bright. I could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky. Some of the tiger sounds are still in my ears like drums. Beat, beat, beating. October 31st. Yes, you can put the 2 blue car poems on the board, but only if you don't put my name on them. November 6th. They look nice typed up like that on blue paper and a yellow board, but still don't tell anyone I wrote them, okay? And what does anonymous mean? Is that good? Who knows what anonymous means? You see it on poems a lot. I think I've seen some of you even write it this year. Anonymous is when an author signs and they don't want anyone to know it was them. November 9th. I don't have any pets, so I can't write about one, especially I can't write a poem about one. Are you thinking, wait, I don't have any pets, but this says love that dog. Is he going to get a dog? November 15th. Yes, I used to have a pet. I don't want to write about it. You're not going to ask me why not, right? November 22nd. Pretend I still have that pet? Can't I make up a pet, a different one, like a tiger, or a hamster, or a goldfish? Turtle? Snail? Worm? Flea? November 29th. I like those small poems we read today. When they're small like that, you can read a whole bunch in a short time, and then in your head all the pictures of all the small things from all of the small poems. And if you see in the print, I know it's kind of blurry on here, but he writes the word small, very small, compared to the rest. And in poetry, they do that a lot. I like how the kitten leaped in the cat poem and how you could see the long head of the horse in the horse poem. And especially I like the dog in the dog poem because that's just how my yellow dog used to lie down with his tongue all limp and his chin between his paws, and how he'd sometimes chomp at a fly and then sleep in his loose skin, just like that poet, Miss Valerie Worth, says in her small dog poem. December 4th. Why do you want to type up what I wrote about reading the small poems? It's not a poem, is it? I guess you can put it on the board if you want to, but don't put my name on it in case other people think it's not a poem. December 13th. I guess it does look like a poem when you see it typed up like that, but I think maybe it would look better if there was more space between the lines, like how I wrote it the first time. And I like the picture of the yellow dog you put beside it, but that's not how my yellow dog looked. January 10th. I really did not get the pasture poem you read today. I mean, somebody's going out in the pasture to clean the spring and to get the little tottery calf while he's out there, and he isn't going to be gone long, and he wants you. Who is you to come too? I mean, really? And you said that Mr. Robert Frost, who wrote about the pasture, was also the one who wrote about the snowy woods and the miles to go before he sleeps. Well, I think Mr. Robert Frost has a little too much time on his hands. January 17th. Remember the wheelbarrow poem that you read the first week of school? Maybe the wheelbarrow poet was just making a picture with words, and someone else, like maybe his teacher, typed it up, and then people thought it was a poem because it looked like one, typed up like that. And maybe that's the thing that happened with Mr. Robert Frost. Maybe he was just making pictures with words about the snowy woods and the pasture. And his teacher typed them up and they looked like poems, so people thought they were poems. Like, how did with the blue car things and reading the small poem things on the board? I'm sorry, like how you did with the blue car things and the reading small poems thing on the board. So what he's saying is, you can, like this, he's really just talking, but when you type it up like that, it sure looks like a poem, right? And that is what poems can be. Everybody thinks it has to be, woo, huge and flowery and lovey and rhymey. It definitely doesn't, and we're going to learn that. Hopefully, we'll get some time to learn some poetry still this year. All right. Oh, sorry, he wasn't done. He said, on the board, typed up, they look like poems, and the other kids are looking at them, and they think they really are poems, and they are all saying, who wrote that? Do you remember why they don't know? Remember why they don't know? Think, that big word. So the teacher signed it for him as, I don't want you to know who I am. We just said it a minute ago. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Anonymous. Anonymous. And now people are like, hey, I like those. Who wrote them? And he didn't want his name on them because he was afraid people would go, what? Those aren't poems. But is that happening? Nope. Because they look like poems. All right. We will be continuing with January 24th when we return. Bye, guys.